Hello and welcome to the Scale Modelling Cafe, and welcome to this week's update, which I'm not sure is going to be that long actually, but we'll see. Right, as always, starting off with the channel, I'm not going to talk about the Formula 1 because it's all a bit depressing really. I think Max is going to run away with it again. I don't mind him winning as long as A, he doesn't ram anyone else off the track, getting his elbows out too wide, and B, it's just not a foregone conclusion, and it's at least we have a little bit of excitement. But yeah, I'm not sure we're going to see much of the first one because the second one he is going to run away with it. I think we'll have to see. Right, anyway, enough of that. Channel update. The part 2 of the Phantom that was postponed from the from last week hopefully is going to go up this week. I've edited it. All I need to do is just do the voiceover, which I'm going to do on completion of this, and then hopefully you'll get that on Sunday. Yeah, good fun, the cockpit, really nicely detailed, especially using the Quinta Studios set, which I don't think it is as good as Red Fox. I said this before. Red Fox print theirs not on decal paper but on the wax paper, and it's acetate, which means it's brittle, but it doesn't curl up and lift, and it's just easier to work with, I think. No mucking about with soaking it off the backing paper or anything like that, and it certainly doesn't curl up. So I do prefer Red Fox, but a nice product all the same. So you'll see that, and we'll see all the weathering and whatnot. The project itself then, it's here. It's in primer. The airframe is built, as you can see. I've literally just polished the primer so you can see the shine there. I always polish in between layers, every layer I always polish. It just removes any texture you can get in there, which means the gloss coat you apply, you just need a really thin coat of gloss to put down, and then a thin coat of gloss over the top. I then tend to rub the decals in a little bit before putting the satin varnish down. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The airframe is built. Lots of talk about Zokei Mura's airframe and how complicated it is, etc. And over-engineered. I'm not sure this is over-engineered, apart from the spine on the top, which I really don't think is necessary. It's very straightforward to rescribe in the circular hatches on the top. But actually, the spine fitted really very well. I was very pleased with it. Tiniest smear of Mr. Surfacer filler down the back. Now, the real aeroplane, it wasn't a panel line down there, it was just a row of rivets. But actually, gluing this in, it looks just like a panel line when glued in. Now what I could do is fill that panel line, rub it all back and restore the rivets. That would be a very easy job. However, I'm not sure on some of the panel lines, because some of the panel lines, the two ones at the back, that sort of go across, turn around, they go across this way, they stop at that row of rivets, which can't be right. So they probably go down to the next panel down there. Maybe, I don't know. I had a real long think about it, and I just think it's going to look a lot neater leaving it as a panel line there, even though that's not strictly accurate. And for me, it's all about the finish and the finesse of the finish. And yeah, that's just where I am with that. The next one were the intakes. Phantoms are notorious for having a bit of a dodgy intake joint at the front here. The contours actually match pretty well. There was a little bit of a gap there that needed filling, so I used my favourite Mr. Hobby epoxy putty, put that in there, rubbed it back, and then actually restored the panel line with the scriber. That's the advantage of the Mr. Hobby epoxy putty. It's a little bit like Milliput, but Milliput is quite chalky, and it just chips really easily if you're trying to scribe through it. This stuff has got a sort of plasticizer in it, and it behaves exactly like plastic, so it's really easy to scribe through and rivet and all that kind of stuff. So I was really pleased with how the intakes worked. Ooh, excuse me. Off comes the horizontal stabilizers. In fact, I take them both off for now. I'll talk about those in a minute. Right, the other potential dodgy bit was where the belly plate joins the lower fuselage. That fitted really, really nicely. Just a quick swipe of the sanding stick to match up the contours, and then I just ran the scriber through, and it looks just like a panel line. You can't see the join. The intakes are designed such that, as you can see here, perhaps I'll do it on this one with the green so there's a little bit more contrast. You have to build up the entire intake. It's not that you can do the intake and then shove the intake ramp vortex generator thing in afterwards, which is a real shame. So what I've done is I've actually painted the fuselage in the gap there to keep it smooth. Both sides, tan on the other side. That's why that's got a little bit of paint on there. And I actually mixed that green. What I'm going to do is I haven't got the proper paint, the 34079 I think it is, with me. So I mixed the green by eye that's similar, and then what I'll do is I'll repaint that area, and actually that will feather it all in quite nicely. You won't see that. What else engineering wise? Right, down the back end, these are separate pieces. It's sort of a ring round here with the vent at the back. They fitted okay. I super glued the main fuselage with my black super glue, and that worked an absolute treat. I cocked up a little bit on the nose, where I'd rubbed down the seam, and actually the plastic, even though it's quite hard, it's quite soft under any kind of sanding. It's really easy to remove too much material, and inevitably when you're going to sand away the seam, you're going to reduce the height of the plastic just a tiny bit, which left a bit of a step on the nose, just a tiny bit. And I thought it would be neater to actually sand the radome separately to match the contour. I actually sanded a little bit too much off, so I just had to go in and restore the contour over the top, and that worked quite nicely. And then when I joined it in, I just had to rescribe the line. I think in hindsight what I should have done is just tacked it into place, matched the contour, and then or even just glued it on and then matched the contour. I think that would have been easier. What else with the airframe? That's pretty much it actually. I think it just fits really, the fit is pretty good, all told. A lot better than I was expecting, so pleasing. I think the main one is going to be the E, which I'm going to do at some point in the future. I'm going to do that as a Greek one, completely battered in the delivery scheme of European one. Hill, the greys. I've got a picture of one that's absolutely minging, so I'm going to be doing that one. But that will fit better. But this actually goes together not too bad at all. A lot better than I was expecting. I've temporarily glued the one-piece canopy on while I've primed it and polished it. What I'm going to do next is remove this. Then I'm going to do the windscreen and the centre section, glue those on, mask them, and then I'm actually going to hopefully eliminate the join from the centre section, and then I'll use the two separate parts as a mask going on the top. It will be masked anyway, and that way it's much easier to feather the paint when you're doing varnish layers and oil work and all the rest of it, weather it all up together. That's going to be the plan of action for that. Right, one thing I did want to mention, and I've kept it to the arse because I had a bit of a genius moment, even if I do say so myself, and that is the attachment of the tailplanes. I may have mentioned this last week. On the inside, the actual fit of these is really sloppy. and it really lets the kit down. So what I did is I built up with thick plastic card, pretty much like a shelf going across. So now the tail planes, it's easy to just slide them in, and what I've done is I've drilled this one and I've pinned this one. They go in there, and it takes a little bit of a wiggle. There we go. And then it goes. So actually it's really easy. It's going to be really easy to mask and paint those, because it is going to be a complicated job on the tail, especially with all that metallic blah going on. But there we are. So overall I'm really quite pleased with it, in how it's turned out. Exceeded my expectations engineering wise, for sure. The next stage is, what I'm going to do is just take a bit of a pause on the airframe. I'm not going to go into the painting, because my friend I'm building this for, we had a chat about markings. He's not a big fan of nose art, and we were going to do this as Scat 27, I think, Robin Olds' famous aeroplane. We're actually going to do a different one he flew, and he got some mid-kills in. But I can't cobble the tail codes together with the print scale decal sheet that I've got. Therefore, friend of the channel Nige is going to do the masks for the codes on the back. So what I'll do is I'll paint them, paint the tail white. I'll put the masks on, the sort of male masks, if you like. Then it'll be paint the camo over the top. And then I'll do the black AF, I think it's 64, whatever it is. That'll go on at the end afterwards, and then it'll all be sealed in with varnish and then decals over the top. That's going to be the plan. So actually a different aeroplane, which means I can't really start the painting until I get back from Ramadan, because I'll have to bring the masks back with me, and I also need to bring that dark green with me. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to do the undercarriage, get all that painted and weathered up. I'm going to do the ordnance. This is going to have an air defence loadout, so 4 sidewinders, 4 sparrows, and the drop tanks. Get all them painted, deckled, weathered, get all that finished. Then what it'll be is I can concentrate on the fun stuff when I get back from Ramadan. It'll be painted, weathered, and then I just need to assemble the whole thing. That's the plan. Right, that took a lot longer than I was expecting, but yeah, I'm quite enthusiastic about that. I'm enjoying it. On to the modelling news then. No new kits to announce. However, there is been a little bit of news that I did want to mention. So kit-wise first, the Qatari Spitfire Mark 1 brackets mid is out. Some modellers have got theirs already. They are being shipped. So I think if you've ordered yours direct from, I nearly said Wingnut then, Freudian slip, from Qatari, you're probably going to get them before if you pre-ordered them through a retailer, because obviously they've got to ship them to distributors and then out to retailers and then out to the modelers. So, but some people have got theirs already, and so far the reports are exceptionally encouraging, which is good, because I know there was quite a lot of moaning when some people saw the test shots at Telford and other shows. Bearing in mind, people, they were test shots. Modelers, eh? Right, the other one is Armour Hobby, the P39. They've just released the P39N in Soviet markings. Some really colourful markings there. I'm actually reading the Osprey P39 Aces book at the moment, and there's some really nice schemes in there. I am going to do that. It is going to come to the channel soon, but I'm doing a custom one from an out of production decal sheet which friend of the channel Nige has done. The masks are with me, but that looks a really nice release actually, and that would be the one I would be waiting for, but I've already gone ahead and bought the original one. A&A Models Hawk 200, that is out in May. That's caused a little bit of excitement, but I think what might have to just temper things is A&A are very much limited run, so it's not going to be up with Armour Hobby or any of that lot. Edward certainly It's going to take a lot of work to get a really nice result, but you should be able to get a really nice result from the base kit. It's just going to take a bit of effort. But that's out in May, so that's very welcome. Red Fox have announced a plethora of new releases. The ones that stand out to me from the list, I'll put a thing up here so you can see them. But a set for the Tamiya F-35. I don't know if they've done just power on or just power off, or maybe you can choose. I don't know. It'd be nice to have the choice, wouldn't it? Power on and or power off, depending on how you're going to model it. So that's cool. And also the Apaches for the Academy Apache and the Takum, both in 35th scale. They're going to be absolutely stunning. And also the Revell Hurricane. They've done a set for that as well, which is really cool. So it's just some of the standouts that sort of leapt out to me from that big long list that's up there. And the last bit of news is a book, and it's Valiant Wings have released their book on the Lancaster, which I've certainly been waiting for. Very exciting. If you haven't seen the Valiant Wings series of books, they are absolutely brilliant for modelers. First section is all about the development of the aeroplane. Then you get sections on camouflage and markings. You get a complete breakdown of all the different variants and sub-variants with line drawings telling you what all the differences are between the production runs and, like I say, the sub-variants. Comprehensive walk-round section, and then some modelling at the back. Normally sort of 3 or 4 modelling subjects. I don't know what modelling subjects they've done. If I was a betting man, if I was producing the book, I would do the 72nd Airfix, the 48th Hong Kong models and the 32nd Border. That's what I would do as a starting point, but I don't know what they're doing. Perhaps I'll probably do one of the noses as well. We shall see. But yeah, looking forward to that. That's being shipped as we speak, and my copy, I shall grab it when I get home, which is in a couple of weeks. Right, there we go. That's all for this week. Like I say, the Phantom, the Zokei Mura Phantom, I'm having a lot of fun with that. I don't normally enjoy the building, but I have enjoyed that building. It's not to me a kit clicked together, but enough there to test the skills and a bit of rescribing, which has been great. As I said, next up for that, for me, is undercarriage ordnance, get all the dangly bits all finished, and then it's on with the painting when I get back from leave. It's 5 weeks of leave, so maybe I'll try and do some sprue tours, maybe some book reviews. I still need to do that ICM video, actually, from ICM's new releases, and get that out to you. And I'll try and schedule those and trickle feed them over the 5 weeks while there's going to be a lack of content. Maybe I'll go for a walk in my newly purchased woods with a selfie stick and maybe do some of those while I'm away. I don't know. That's all in a few weeks, all to come. There we go. I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, keep an eye on the channel, keep an eye on the Facebook page for updates, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye-bye.